So let's move forward from there. So right now about your coaching program, about your coaching stuff. So you got into it because you saw a lot of people, as you mentioned, people, women who are getting divorced, they don't know where to invest. So maybe, you want to teach them. So are you teaching people about how to invest, or are you teaching how to become a real estate agent? Because I don't know, like, what are you teaching? What are you coaching them about?
Okay, so the website that is being built right now, basically the way it works is 3 steps.
What's the name of your website?
It's High Humanity. So it's HI, like highhumanity.com. Okay. There's a landing page there now, but I am in the midst of building it out. And the first group is starting January 15th. And then after that in February. That's like the first 2 groups. The way it works is that there's a few tracks. So, and it's basically a group mentality. So it's peer learning. And the idea of peer learning is that even after I coach them kind of like a mother hen, they can then be together and stay together as a group, and they can continue to feed off each other and help each other out, and so build out the community, which is not an uncommon thing that you see. But I really want to curate it and keep it kind of small so that everybody can really enjoy and like work together. I don't want it to be another one of these like businesses that just take people's money and don't actually help them. So the track is something that they get to pick. So they get to pick, maybe somebody just wants to learn about Airbnb, or somebody just wants to learn about real estate investing. So they get to pick their track, and then each track has their own group, and then they learn together. And so there's going to be, I'm launching with 4. I think I have it written down somewhere. One is for female founders. So they could be anybody who started a brokerage, or they started a marketing company, or they have a prop tech startup company, or whatever. They're a hustling entrepreneur and they just need to find balance in their life. So that's group number 1. Group number 2 is like people who want to become real estate investors. So learning deep dive into investments, like everything. We'll go over the BRRRR method. We'll go over the Airbnb, long-term, short-term, multifamily. We'll go through every single one. So it's like a deep, intense how to become a real estate investor. Let's see what else I have there. And then the third one that I'm starting with is starting over in life, and how, let's say you were raised Amish or Orthodox, or and you really need to like start all over, or you get into like you go through a divorce and you've never worked since you were like 19 years old, and now you're like 32 and you don't know where to go. So that's the third track. So they pick the track, and then for now I'm the only mentor on the site, but I'm gonna open it up to other mentors. And so I want them to be able to pick their track, pick their mentors, and then they do the course. And once the course is done, they can join for a monthly subscription. Probably, I haven't priced yet, but probably like $30-$40 a month. Okay. They can just stay with this group like forever on, and have their mentors check in on them. And then this way, it's not just about me, it's about the community. It's about whoever you need to help you. You know what I mean? Like maybe one woman is 6 years old and she is like a Brene Brown leadership coach, and she helps people going through divorce. So she's like a divorce coach, and then like I'm like the real estate investment coach, and then there'll be someone else who's like a financial coach, something of that nature.
Okay, so this is something unique, because you're not you're not expert in everything. So you're bringing experts in each department who can help and mentor people and need them achieve success in that respective department, right? So it's not
that's the number 1 tip in life, is that real estate agents try to do it all, and they don't realize they need the rapid response team. They need to rely on others, and they need to collaborate and let other people be experts as well. And they all work together. When you work together, it makes a better outcome.
Exactly. And now I had some questions laid out here, but whatever you've told me now, really interesting, and really what I would like to know, and I think this will add a lot of value to my audience, to real estate agents and real estate brokers in general. You've been at it, you've done this for 6 years, you've closed multi-million-dollar deals. You're an investor right now, and we're going to come to basically the Airbnb model, because a lot of people don't know about that. But I want to go into this discussion like, hey, if there's an agent who just started out, maybe he's doing one or 2 deals a month, and he wants to diversify his income, what should be his best route? Should he become an investor, or Airbnb sounds more achievable, whatever he's earning right now or on his deal flow? So whatever his current financial resources currently are, what does it so what suits him better? Is it the Airbnb model? Is it the investor model? What it should be? So that's something that can add a lot of value and can give people or agents a perspective on how much would they need realistically to get started, or to become an investor, or to become Airbnb guy, and then graduate it from there. So before we get into that and how into this classification, can you talk to me, because I honestly I don't know about that. It's fairly new to me. Like, what is this Airbnb thing that you're doing? What is this Airbnb model?
Okay, so you have, in real estate investing, you can invest in residential or commercial, and then there's a million others, but we're going to keep it simple. So residential is 6 units or under, and then commercial is, multifamily is 6 units and over. So you can look at like 30 units or 150 units or 800 units. Okay, a totally different ball game, structured differently.
Kind of like what Grant Cardone does.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know what Grant's business model is. I think, he's a big multifamily guy. Yeah. I think he's very into multifamily. I personally am not. I'm not in multifamily, but I'm not saying that it's not a good business model. I'm just saying that it's just a very specific way to get into it. So you have to really look at your personality. Again, you have to know yourself and you have to know what you're going to be able to sustain. One of the reasons why people quit is because it's not in alignment with their energy. And if you just looked at your energy as part of your computer system and you honored your energy, then you would be able to prevail. I love people. I love hospitality. I love, talking to people and like helping people out. But if I work with too many people, I'll get burnt out. So I don't like doing rentals, because with rentals, I'm running around all day. But if your budget is $7,000 a month and up, then I will work with you because there'll be fewer of you guys and I'll be making a higher commission. So I don't have to run around as much. That was just my personality type. Some people are energy bunnies and they can run and run and run all day and they're fine. For me, I'm an empath and I'm an introvert. And so I can't do that. I'll just burn out. I'll work for 3 days and spend 3 days in bed or in the house by myself. So it was just crazy.
So this is interesting. So when you hop on, let's say you're doing this group coaching, I know you're starting out, you haven't done this, it's not something you've been doing for years. Do you actually conduct calls with people before taking them on? Like what kind of personality type they are and what could be suited to them?
100%. And if anybody tries, you can tell right away, who is going to, appreciate and work with you and get things done and who's going to waste your time. Now, the biggest reason why I'm doing this is because I know so many people who have spent over $100,000 in real estate investment and education, but they haven't even bought a house yet. And I am somebody who's very confident and I want to give people confidence, because I think that if you took that $100,000 and bought a house already, you'd be there. Like, why are you educating yourself more? And they might even know more than I do.
Yeah, I think this is a serious problem now. There's an information overload which kind of puts you in a paralysis. Like you can't take action. You're always kind of hooked onto more information. Okay, let me find this, or let me do this, and let me do this risk analysis, and you never actually take action. And that brings me again, like the way you got that multi-million-dollar deal with that, the new building guy you closed, was because you actually took action and talked to him, right? So again, keeping this in mind, taking action is the number one priority. All right, so let's get back to the Airbnb model.
Airbnb is just, so if you're doing residential and you buy a house and the house has, let's say 3 units in it, right? So you could put 3 long-term tenants in there. So you find a tenant, you sign a lease, you put them in there. That's the idea. If you're not flipping it, if you're keeping it and you're doing a hold. So you can put a long-term tenant in there, or you could short-term tenant. A short-term tenant is kind of like a hotel or a corporate traveler or a traveling nurse, now that we have a lot of traveling nurse with COVID and everything like that. Yeah. You take your apartment and you design it and furnish it, and you put all the things that anybody would find in a hotel, but it's longer term than a hotel. So that is the Airbnb model. It's that simple. It's basically a short-term rental that is looking to stay somewhere. They show up with their suitcase, they unpack their suitcase, and they just start living instantaneously, and then they can pack up and leave at any point, and that's it. That's what a short-term rental is.
Okay, so basically someone would have to actually buy a house and then have to rent it out, or maybe list it with Airbnb and then rent it out. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now it's not something that you go, because I heard once that there's any Airbnb thing going on. I'm not sure if it did, that go and talk to some homeowners who have a house, who you can, maybe they're old or whatever, and you can lease it from them and put that on Airbnb and make more money and then pay the rent out. And I mean, it made some sense.
That's called lease arbitrage. And what that means is that you're essentially just becoming a property manager.
Yes.
So you go to them and you say, hey, you have this house. If I put it on Airbnb, I can get you $300 a night. And so you do that and you can take like a 25% management fee.
What do you think is better? Is that kind of model better, or what you're saying, okay, just buy a house, it's gonna, because essentially if you're doing that for them and you're working as a property, you have no asset, right? You have no asset.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. So it could be an equity play, or you need cash flow. Again, you have to know yourself. You have to know, what do you need? Do you need cash flow? So then it's great. You can just cash flow. Like, do you need to build equity? Like, do you want to asset? Like, yes, like in 10 years, you're not going to retire off of it because you don't own it. It's not your asset, but it's a good way to have cash flow. And then